Welcome to Accreditation Made Easy, the podcast that takes the stress out of accreditation. I'm your host, Areaka Jewell, and in each episode, we'll deliver actionable tips, expert insights, and practical strategies to help streamline the process. And of course, make your work life a little easier. Now, whether you're tackling policies, preparing for assessments, or just looking for ways to stay ahead, we've got you covered. Let's simplify accreditation, one step at a time.
Welcome back to another episode of the Accreditation Made Easy. I am your co-host, Areaka Jewell, here with
Oscar Kiefer.
And today we're going to dive into time-sensitive standards, but not before we talk about what's on the agenda today.
Well, starting this morning, I know it's important to always go to the business meeting.
And what's the business meeting?
Basically, they speak about, at this one's a little bit different because they have, this is the time of year where there's elections for the new board. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think no one's running against the board, so I think it should be a pretty easy laid back.
Will there be
meeting.
A vote?
I believe not. No vote this time because just basically everybody's running unopposed.
Okay.
So it should be easy breezy, normal meeting where, it's not going to take an excessive amount of time.
That's good. Yeah.
So that's a good thing. And in the meeting, they discuss basically what's going to happen in the future with future conferences, future training agendas. And the committee members go up and read their reports. And,
about what they're each doing.
What they're doing for the week. And it's very informative. And it pretty much sets up the rest of the week with that. And then after that, we break out to the other classes that we have on task today.
Looks like a couple roundtables going on today. A CFA roundtable, CALIA roundtable.
So those are, I always tell, you don't have to be really a first timer, but I always tell folks to attend those because then you get a leg up on what's gonna, especially let's just say CFA roundtable. They discuss a lot of the items that they will discuss at SRIC, and SRIC is actually tomorrow,
yep.
Where they actually vote for
changes
and stuff. As you were at SRIC, so
I used to be on SRIC.
You used to be on SRIC, so you know how that works. Again, to recap a little bit about yesterday, I know we're talking about today, but yesterday, Chapter 4, use of force.
How'd that go? Did you go to that?
Yeah, I attended.
Okay.
And it was one of those things where it's so challenging for the training committee because you don't know how that particular class, the attendance will be.
Okay.
But they had two things happen. That's a hot topic right now, as you know.
Use of force.
And then the other item, I think there was a class that canceled. So the folks that were at that class showed up to Chapter 4.
Chapter 4, okay.
And
so it was crowded.
It was super crowded, but still people were attentive, and they didn't care if they had to stand up because they know how much
how important
chapter is. How important that chapter is.
Nice.
For today,
the other class I was looking at, file tips and tricks.
Mm-hmm.
I like when I can hear or see how other people build their files and little tricks and nuances of the system to help make our job easier. So I think Carol McMaster is doing that class. But lots of good stuff on the agenda today. What is not on the agenda is time-sensitive standards, but also a very important topic. So how do you manage your time-sensitive standards?
The first thing I do is I print out the most up-to-date time-sensitive list that everybody can go to the CFA website and pick up the latest version.
Yep, we talked about that yesterday.
I do it two ways. I set it up on Outlook.
Right.
And then I also put reminders on PowerDMS to flag me on that specific standard, and it pops up like twice.
Okay.
So I never miss it.
Right.
So it's like a backup way of not missing out. As you know, time sensitive. There's no going back. So if you miss the boat, you miss the boat.
Right.
So you don't want to do that as an accreditation.
So definitely set yourself reminders, buffers. Don't wait until the day it's due to start asking for it. But definitely you can go to the website to identify what those deadlines, which ones are time sensitive, and then it's up to you to identify in your agency what those dates are. Like, when do you do training? When do you do that particular report? So I don't know if you said that, but you could basically fill in on that form what your dates are. Because it's a table format, has a date column. It's meant for you to apply it to your agency, whatever your discipline is. And I know you touched on law enforcement. And the way I do it is a little more automated. I do a lot in PowerDMS. I am a PowerDMS expert. But I automate it. So I build all of my proofs into PowerDMS, and then it has the ability to set up an automated review. So every one of my proofs, whenever it comes due, 2 months before, it pops up in the inbox of whoever is supposed to provide it. They see the example of what they provided last year, and then they send me a new one. So mine's a little more automated, but starting with that same list on the CFA website is basically it helps you identify, and then I set up the reviews.
I really like what you just said there about the automated, the way you have it set up.
It takes a little bit to set up, but once it is, it runs itself.
It runs itself, yes.
Yeah.
And as busy as you are, I can see that being a good tool, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It helps you out. Another thing I wanted to touch, I kind of, lit up the light bulb here for me.
Yeah.
For the first timers or someone new, like someone that just started at a new agency, let's just say.
Okay.
And it's just recognizing the chain of command, I think, like knowing who to go to. As you know, I work for a smaller PD,
okay,
which I can go directly to certain, departments, And,
good morning.
But then there's folks that work for an agency that has 1,500, sworn deputies.
So they may not go directly to the person, but have
Correct.
to go through a chain of command.
They don't have that ability to go directly to the person that can get them the documentation. That sometimes takes a little more time. So preparing for that kind of,
knowing how long it's going to take.
Knowing how long it's going to documentation, it's also a good idea starting out to set yourself up with a timeline or some sort,
Definitely.
Because it's not like now where I can just go to, my captain and say, hey, I need this. And, here you go.
Right.
Well, in other agencies, you can't do that. So.
And before we started this podcast, Whitney was here telling us she uses Outlook calendar and puts everything in there again with the buffers and sends multiple reminders. So it just says that there's different ways. There's no one right way to manage your time-sensitive standards. I would just say whatever works for you, and maybe you utilize multiple different methods or try one, move to another. But definitely you have to stay on top of them. So what I did for the freebie today is I went to the CFA website like you suggested, and I downloaded each of the time-sensitive standards list for each of the disciplines. And then I exported it to Excel, because a lot of people work in Excel. They don't necessarily have the Adobe suite to be able to edit the PDF. And then I made it conditional so that if you plug your dates into there, any of them are overdue or that date passes, it turns the cell red. I also put in there a formula to change the color of the cell yellow 2 months out. So all of these are downloadable. Just go to the same website as we said yesterday, accreditationacademy.net/freebies or
areakajewel.com.
Yep, and click on the link and I will email you a copy of this Excel spreadsheet complete with formulas.
Oh, you count me in.
All right.
Sounds like another tool I'll use.
Awesome. All right, Oscar, thank you today for talking about time sensitive. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.